The chair recognizes myself for 5 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Dodaro. There have been several programs that have been mentioned today and in your testimony that have been included in the high-risk list since the 90's. Can you, so the ones I recall is Medicare, the fact there's improper payments, cybersecurity, which is a high risk, strategic human capital management, any others?
The ones from the 1990, original charter list, if you will, was the DoD weapon systems, the tax administration, Department of Energy contracting system, NASA's acquisition system, and Medicare.
Okay, and so have any of these agencies fallen off the list? Which
Well,
ones?
these are the ones that are currently on the list.
That have been there since the 90's?
Yeah, there was 14 on the original 1990. I'm talking about just the original 1990 list. There were 14, 6 are left. So eight have come off the list over time. And we've had, and in total, have been about 27 areas we've designated over time that have come off the list. There's a complete list in the report on when they came off the list.
So is there any factors that are in common with the 6 that are remaining on the list? Any structural issues with those?
Yeah, there's some inherent risk, associated with those issues. Weapon systems are one-of-a-kind kind of things that are developed. Medicare is a large and growing program with, thousands of, if not millions of transactions every year, with those programs. But they're all unique. There really is not one single thing but I would also, point out that in those 6 areas, even though they're still on the list, there's been a lot of progress made, and some of the financial benefits. We mentioned the $675 billion that's been saved since 2006. Some of them a significant part of them have come from those 6 programs.
Oh, that's promising to hear, because seeing that they've been on this since the 90's is discouraging. But do you have any issues with agencies ignoring the fact that they're on the list? Is there any punishment or anything that happens when an agency is identified and placed on the high risk?
Yeah, the only statutory requirement is that if GAO puts something on the high risk list, that the OMB needs to do a portfolio review of that issue. And so we've been having regular meetings with OMB, the agencies on the high risk list, and GAO. I personally participate in those meetings, but other than that, there's no quote penalty. Nobody ignores us. We won't let them. And so, we're working with them, and I'd like to see, the continued leadership commitment. One of the things we take very seriously is, since these are long-standing problems, is to provide transition between administrations of having each successive administration commit to that issue, and I've had good success there.
But if you could implement one measure that would save the United States an enormous amount of money and eliminate a lot of opportunity for fraud, of all the things, what would you say?
Equalizing the payment process by place of payment for Medicare. I mentioned this early. If you go into a doctor's office at a hospital, or you go into a doctor's office in a private building, the government pays you more for the same treatment in a hospital than there. That tens of billions of dollars there, and it will reduce the amount of potential fraud in Medicare. And there's,
I know of patients, family members that are on Medicare and were getting treatment in an outpatient setting, and they were moved. The hospital made a decision to end that service so they could move them into the hospital so they could charge more. And it happens all the time.
Yeah, well, and it's costly. It's costly. and you don't get any better treatment. I mean, you get the same treatment.
Same
So
service.
I've been trying to get Congress to act on this for many years. I have several of my gray hair have come from this particular recommendation, and there are many others that we have.
Thank you. My time has expired.